She actually makes $9,500 a month.
Oh my God.
For selling her armpit
She makes
hair.
6 figures selling armpit hair. Well, I don't even like my armpit hair, honestly. It's too long.
You have very long, spiky armpit hair.
It's like my hair.
Unusual. So if you would like to buy some of Tyler
really
Hoover's
didn't want-
armpit hair.
Good morning, YouTube.
Hello, welcome. I'm April Rose. Next to me is the incomparable, seriously incomparable Tyler Hoover. You've probably seen him on Hoovie's Garage, which is this massively successful car YouTube channel.
The only thing massive about me is this is it that I've grown on my nose for the very first episode of this. Yeah.
I appreciate you and your friend here.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it alone,
And it's
could
on
you?
your side, so you're looking at it the entire time.
Well, so Tyler and I have worked together for a while in television and broadcasting, and we thought, well, maybe we should combine those efforts. And you mentioned, YouTube was kind of missing something.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked together for a few years, and now it's become something more, and April has moved to Kansas from Chicago to work with me, a really dumb YouTuber from Kansas. And we're filming in my back barn that I've converted into a studio, and I still don't understand why you're here.
You are not a dumb YouTuber. Do you know the amount of stuff you know about cars? If I knew 1% of that, I'd be so much better off in life. Like, I'd be way ahead of life by now. I just need a little bit of your information.
Well, my idea, and it's one of my few bright ideas I guess I've had in my entire life, is nobody is doing a morning show on YouTube that I know of. I looked around, didn't see it, and a lot of people our age or younger, they've cut the cord when it comes to cable, so they don't watch any of those legacy morning shows either. So I thought, well, why don't we try? Except I'm totally unqualified to do this, and you have lots of TV experience. Once again, what are you doing here in Kansas with me?
I don't know. I think I was drugged and dragged here. But, YouTube, it's something that I'm not used to. This is new territory for me. I do love it because, I feel like you can just be real and be yourself.
Unfiltered. But neither of us are super duper political with some hot takes that are really going to light the world on fire and divide people. But we do want to cover some politics, the news, breeze through the headlines, stories we find interesting, and also interview people that we want to have new insight from. And, well, also do fun stuff like going places and experiencing things, taking you along for the ride, sort of like, I guess, more YouTube vlog style.
Right.
So it is a little bit of everything going on here. I guess we can just get into it, shall we? Now, I have to try and get cars out of my brain, because all I talk about on YouTube forever is cars. And now it's going to be something else. So, okay, come on. You can do this.
This is your big moment.
All right.
This is it.
First big storm. See, I can't even do it. One more try. Okay, I can do this. All right. The U.S. is getting its first major snowstorm in the Northwest. Parts of Montana could see up to a foot of snow here in the coming days.
This is awful.
But
this is awful.
yeah, what?
That's like
I'm
you
doing
talk
okay.
about the weather when you just first meet a stranger and you need to be polite.
I'm trying to ease myself into this a little bit. But April, I know you don't like winters.
It's terrible.
So you don't need to worry, because NOAA, the Weather Prediction Service, is saying that it'll be a milder winter than usual.
Ah, okay, that's wonderful.
How'd I do?
I think that's fantastic. I don't know if we need to talk about
I didn't mention
weather.
a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or anything once in there.
Do you remember what you said? Did you black out?
I totally blacked out, yeah. Well, and the next story is something that everybody is talking about. The internet's completely lost their minds over Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. We're from Kansas, so the Kansas City Chiefs are our home team, so we've been following all of this. They actually had their first public smooch.
Yes, they had their first public kiss. It's weird because everyone's like, oh, he's just her next song waiting to happen. They're going to break up and she's going to write another hit record. But I feel like it's about time. She's a little older and she might be ready to settle down. She's kind of went through guys already and might find the one.
Are we
I don't
describing
know.
Taylor Swift or someone else?
Or perhaps myself.
Are you wanting to have a first public kiss too or something?
I feel a connection with her. It seems like it's a real thing. I see the way, I watched a clip where she was walking out of a car. He got the door for her, and his body language is he's reaching around, guiding her out of the door. And I feel like that's a protective thing, and that's a sweet romantic thing. And I feel like those emotions and that connection is a real connection. It's not just let's be seen, let's call the paparazzi and have them meet us at this corner in New York and have them shoot us, walk into this famous restaurant. It seems like a real connection. Here's the problem is I feel like, why am I obsessing over this connection? Like, they're just people. They're just random people. Like, who are they really? You know what I mean?
I had no idea who Travis Kelce is because I'm not a football guy at
Right,
all. I know
right.
Mahomes, and that's about it.
It is breathing fresh air into football.
Yeah.
The NFL ratings
Yeah,
are
up
skyrocketing.
20%. That's why I looked this up, and he gained 1 million Instagram followers from the first game when Taylor showed up.
But here's the thing I don't get is why am I obsessing over this moment?
You're obsessing over it?
Not obsessing, but analyzing like people getting out of a car going on a date. And so then I just saw this article the Hungarian news published about people who are obsessed with celebrities actually have a lower IQ. What does that say about me?
So you just insulted most of the United States, just right there on the bat for the first episode.
And myself, but it's interesting because it's an actual study that they did, and it's a survey they took, where it's a questionnaire that you fill out. And I want to read off some of these questions to you to see if you're obsessed with celebrities.
All right.
So, have you ever felt compelled to learn the personal habits of any of your favorite celebrity?
No.
Who is your favorite celebrity?
Jerry Ryan.
Jerry Ryan.
7 of 9 from Voyager. Well, Star Trek.
Gosh, this is happening. That's a very real answer.
That just popped in my head.
So you're telling me you've never thought about the personal habits of 7 of 9 of Jerry Ryan?
No, honestly, no.
Okay, so that's good. If you were lucky enough to meet your favorite celebrity and he or she asked you to do something illegal as a favor, if
No.
Jerry Ryan asked you to do something illegal,
No.
she was like, Tyler,
No.
I really need you to help me.
No, and you have the exact same measurements as Jerry Ryan, as we discovered. We're watching Star Trek together. This is getting random. But no, I wouldn't. No. I'm just not that obsessed with celebrity as much.
Which means you're highly intelligent. And
I don't know about that. Obviously, that's not the case. The only thing that I have over Travis Kelce is I've got you in Kansas. You've moved here. All right, so I've covered weather now. I've covered sports,
Yes.
sort of.
Yes.
I don't know much about sports.
Totally covered sports.
Once again, I'm a complete moron. So my next article is, it's about cars. All right, back to my comfort zone here. Tesla has finally announced that the Cybertruck is going to enter production, and deliveries will start in November.
Seriously, do you really think it's
Finally,
going to happen?
4 years after announcing the truck. And they've taken 1 million deposits, literally 1 million deposits on this truck. They're going to start delivering them here in November, within a month. But Elon is way, way behind, and he is pretty stressed because he's thinking they're going to need to make like 150,000 trucks a year to make a profit because of all the R&D going in. They'll have capacity eventually to make 250,000 trucks a year, but people may say that's never going to happen. And Elon himself has even said ramping up production on this is going to be really, really challenging. So is the price. They were supposed to start at $40,000.
Right.
Price hasn't been announced yet, but the cost of everything going up, it's going to be an expensive truck.
I can't help to make the comparison with the DeLorean. Okay, first all the stainless steel around it.
Yeah.
And then when John DeLorean first announced that he was making the DeLorean, the price was different as well. He wanted to make it, what was that?
I'm impressed.
At $12,000?
Yes, it was supposed to be sort of a economy sports car.
You're impressed.
And there was a lot of compromises with the DeLorean, and
Right.
the performance and the price just went out of control.
And it seems like the Cybertruck is going to be so expensive to build. And I know Elon has mentioned the Ford F-150 being so expensive and saying, being upset about why would you price this pickup truck that the average American family has out of the average American's price range. And it seems like the Tesla truck is going in that direction too.
Yeah, but they need a profit, obviously. And when you build a lower price truck, there's less of a margin. So we'll see. I'm guessing they're going to start with the most expensive ones, the quad motors with all the crazy stuff, and then start making the cheaper ones later down the line. But they have to get through a lot of orders, including mine.
You did make an order. It was funny because I was like, we just talked to somebody who ordered one of these wild trucks. Who was it? And of course,
Me.
It was you.
Yes. Well,
what was that process
I'm one of
like?
a million people that watched the press launch and then put down an order within the hour. And I think I'm within the 50,000 people in line. I think
it's actually a thing people are looking to buy your line, buy your spot in the queue.
Yeah, but it was just like $100 or $200 deposit that I've already forgotten about 4 years later. So that times 1 million orders. That is a lot of money that Elon's been sitting on. I know when they were building the Tesla Model 3 and he was in his first production hell, they were setting up tents in the parking lot to be able to like make shift production things. And then the quality of the Teslas and that Model 3 especially in that time was really bad when it came to panel finish and things like that. So I'm sure he wants to avoid that mistake from 4 or 5 years ago with the launch of the Model 3. So we'll see.
How do you feel about the stainless steel all
it's
around
awesome.
it?
It's awesome.
Well, compared to the DeLorean, have they been able to stand being weathered, and have they been able to keep up?
I think that they're getting it from a good supplier, and I know they've been testing it because there's cars going around. There's one that somebody, I think they said they unloaded a Tommy gun into it, so it's bullet resistant as well. So one of the test mules they're driving all over the United States right now. I haven't seen one in person yet, but it has like bullet dents all down the side of it.
Right.
So they're doing some interesting testing with the Cybertruck.
I like that they made it so boxy, because all the electric vehicles, it's all about making them look like an egg and making them smooth and aerodynamic. And Tesla's like, nope, we don't need to do that. We're going to do whatever we want.
We are really good at talking about cars. This is nice. Oh.
I think the Tesla truck looks really cool.
It's very good, yes.
I think it's great. I wonder if they're going to be super customizable, though, because it seems like it's almost like a primer finish. Not that it's primer finish,
No
but
colors.
it seems like this is what you get. They're very standard, and I know a lot of trucks you can get customized and make look special. You got the Raptor and all different levels of cars that you can get, and this is just one model.
Yeah, Tesla's always been minimalist, and that's with all of their cars. And by spending all this money for stainless steel panels that are very expensive, they save money in not having to paint it or coat it or do anything. So that's where they make it up. And now we have to quit talking about cars because I know I do too, but we're not going to focus on that. We're trying to be broad here.
Maybe we are, and that's where it's going to go.
My next topic is Congress.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Yes.
You do have a degree in political science.
Yeah, I needed to get out of college as soon as possible, and that was the easiest way out because there's no wrong answer in politics. I mean, you can make a lot of people mad with your opinions,
right?
But there's no wrong answer as long as you stand behind it. So that was the easy way to get the degree.
Well, you say it's the easy way for you because you're smart. That's why if I took political science, I would never finish it.
I already have a very big head, as you know, that doesn't fit proportionally in my body, so let's not make it bigger. But after a month of turmoil with the House of Representatives, they finally have a new Speaker of the House, which is very important because they're second in line to the President. They set the agenda for Congress and do so many other important procedural things. And a lot of people put their names in the hat, but not a lot of them were able to get through. So it went further down the line to Mike Johnson. Congratulations, Mike, you're the new Speaker of the House. One person who does not want to be Speaker of the House, he hasn't applied yet, is George Santos.
Oh my gosh, that name just conjures up craziness and people get obsessed. So just be careful. What are you going to say?
Well, his campaign manager or treasurer has pled guilty to like an unspecified felony, which is probably setting this person up to testify against him because everybody wants this crazy politician out. And he's done some, absolutely terrible things, obviously.
Isn't that part of being a politician, is that you have to have some track record of prison time or jail time behind you?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm getting to that. But yeah, he's pleaded not guilty to charges that he duped donors, he stole from his campaign, and lied to Congress about being a millionaire because he lied about his entire background. And he cheated to collect unemployment benefits he didn't deserve. So most people, when they're caught with all this stuff, they resign and they go hide.
Right.
I think he likes the power and needs the money because it doesn't pay six figures, that he hasn't resigned. So everybody hates him. That's why I picked this guy, because I can talk about him and I don't think there's any supporters for this guy in the world. A guy that sets up a GoFundMe for a sick dog, a service dog for somebody, a veteran, a disabled veteran, and then collects the money for the surgery for the tumors. I think it was $3,000. And then pockets the money, deletes the thing, and just... Everybody should hate this man.
But how do we know that that's like a real, actual story? Because why would he be wasting his time setting up a GoFundMe?
He was broke. He needed the money.
So this was back in the day.
2016. 2016.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
And now he's getting caught up, which really talks about you can't do anything on the internet because there's a track record of every move you make, no matter what.
But the amazing part is nobody checked this guy's resume or made sure anything he said was real until after he was elected.
Right.
To where there's very little you can do about it until this guy is convicted. And that's a big reason why he hasn't been voted out yet, because our system is innocent until proven guilty. And he hasn't been found guilty yet.
Right.
But the circle is closing in. And it makes me wonder, like, why is Congress so dysfunctional? And I thought, well, I know there's been a lot of people arrested and convicted of things in Congress, and then I Googled it, and oh my God, it was so much. Like, each presidential administration has had like a dozen members of Congress convicted of something.
I mean, so here's my question. Is everybody, like in our general population, do we all have people like that? It's just more prevalent in Congress, in our government, because we're watching those people. And if you're on one side or the other, you want to find dirt on them. Where in our everyday lives, we're not digging to find dirt on somebody, so we're not going to find it. But in Congress and the government, when you're campaigning, you want to dig up dirt, so you find it. Or are political people just corrupt?
Well, I'm probably naive, but I would like to think that it's not a large percentage of our population that is sleazebags.
Right.
But maybe not. I think Congress is a really tough job because you have to run for election every 2 years. So these people are constantly running for re-election. It doesn't pay all that much. I feel like there's a qualification issue there versus a senator or somebody that's running for governor or whatever. They're good for 4 or 6 years. This is every 2 years, and not a lot of perks, I would say.
Well, let me run this by you. To be in the public eye, to get votes by people, to put yourself out there, you might have to have a little bit of an ego. I'm not saying that in a bad way or a good way.
I mean,
that
for
you might have
YouTube,
to be self-important.
I've said this before, like, to be a YouTuber, it takes a little bit of narcissism to think people want to watch you putting a camera in your face and talking. So,
And
yeah, there's
so
an element of that.
You need to have a lot of confidence in yourself to get people to vote for you. Do those type of people, does that personality demographic have a tendency to be corrupt because of that ego? They think they can get away with things. They think that they're better than the average person, and they're allowed to misstep and do illegal things just because they feel like it, because their ego is telling them to. And that's when they go into the profession of being a politician.
That is very insightful. And that's why you should be doing this and not me. I just learned a lot. But I have a surprise for you, April.
You do.
Our very first guest,
Yes.
our interview, is George Santos. He's here right now ready to talk. No, obviously not. No, that would not be our first guest on the show. That will never, ever happen. Not that he would probably come here anyway. We do have an amazing guest coming up. But April, you have your stories, right?
I have a story for you.
Okay. Hit us with it. I'm really curious to get into the mind of April Rose to see what has caught her eye. And it's...
Vanilla Fox. This is hard-hitting news.
Okay.
She's very important. She's a body positive influencer, but I wanted to hear your side and how you felt about this, because what she has done now is she's selling her armpit hair. Now, she says that she does it to raise awareness for body positive images. This is how women naturally are. We have armpit hair. And so why do we shave it? Why do we cover it up?
Oh my God.
And so she actually makes $9,500 a month
Oh my God.
for selling her armpit
She
hair.
makes 6 figures selling armpit hair.
She does, absolutely.
That is awesome.
She's a beautiful girl. She said she's stopped wearing makeup. She stopped primping herself, adding things to herself to be natural and real. And she's a beautiful girl, and she's now selling her armpit hair. She's getting a lot of criticism for it. A lot of people are attacking her online, telling her she's gross. How could she do this? She's selling her body basically online, being an influencer. But I kind of appreciate what she's doing.
So you're going to start doing it?
Would you buy it?
No comment.
So how do you feel about women
I was
that
very,
have
very
hair?
concerned. This is your very first story
This is my
here.
first story.
And it's about selling armpit hair, but now I get it. I mean, it's about positive... I'm flustered with this. Body positive image.
He's looking at a picture of her
Yeah.
online and something, which is quite normal
Well,
for you.
so that is our very first news
Well,
there.
I think there's something to be said about women who have to feel like they need to change who they are, change themselves. And a long time ago, over 100 years ago, I believe razor companies would promote shaving body hair, and they'd keep going further where you need to shave your legs, shave your underarms to promote selling their products. And so they push the idea that women shouldn't have body hair, men should be shaving, and men have been shaving for, I don't know, hundreds of years. But why did it jump to women? Why did body hair get gross on women? When did that happen?
Well, I don't even like my armpit hair, honestly. It's too long.
You have very long, spiky armpit hair.
It's like my hair.
Unusual. So if you would like to buy some of Tyler
really
Hoover's
didn't want-
armpit hair, I am selling it.
I have a lot to sell.
I am auctioning it off
Oh,
tonight.
boy.
And the bids start at $10. You can have a locket of Tyler Hoover's armpit hair.
Oh, okay. Well, that's our very first news and our very first business venture together now. Yeah, so our next segment is actually an interview, not George Santos, but someone that we both really like and admire. And since we're brand new to this show, we wanted to have somebody on that has a lot of experience doing television, doing shows, doing live, doing everything to give us advice on what to do and what not to do. And he's totally perfect for this, right, April?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's started in the car world, which is obviously where you're heavily living in.
Yes, and you.
And he's branched out, and he does a lot of fantastic shows right now. He's on national television all over the place.
Not to mention The Floor is Lava. I love The Floor is Lava. But yeah, our first guest, and we pre-recorded this earlier, is Rutledge Wood. There's Rut!
You made it.
You guys, I'm just in my living room. Y'all are in an old Corvette, it looks like.
Well, we've had some issues with production and Wi-Fi not reaching the studio, so I thought, well, you can sit in the 62 Corvette and do this. It works!
You barely fit there. You're getting a little bit of a haircut.
That's perfect. I just grabbed my grandma's quilt just to make sure you guys felt warm and invited.
And what is that picture you have back there?
That's a picture of me as a 4-year-old that my parents had turned into a portrait. And that's me. I'm wearing a frog one-piece jumper because apparently that was the style in Alabama when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then they've given it back to me as a Christmas present 2 years ago, and I don't know what to do with it. So there it is.
Love it. Okay, so here's the thing. This is our very first episode. So you're like the trial and error to see if this actually works. We're testing it out.
Honor.
Now, I know you're big time. You've got your big national shows, and we just kind of really need advice. And we've worked with the same producer that you worked with back in the day, Fran Leonard. We work with him a lot on all our broadcasts for Barrett Jackson, and we know that he helped you get your start. How did that happen?
Yeah, you were a PA at first, right?
I was basically like a glorified t-shirt tosser. I snuck my way into the Speed Channel through a Craigslist ad. And I know you and I have had some serious Craigslist hustles in our day. I think this is maybe my greatest ever because it led me here to you guys. So yeah, Fran Leonard, amazing a guy in TV, has been in for decades and saw me and he was like, hey, here's the number one thing, just be you every single day. And I think that's something that you two know, and that's what you've made your career out of. But for those of us who end up in front of the camera, if we always know who we are, then we never have to wonder, who am I supposed to be in this place, in this scenario? We just are three people with very different experiences, and the things that we like are different. So all you got to do is just own that. Show up, ask a lot of questions. I think my curiosity from day one when I started and I met Fran as a guy that came in from a Craigslist ad was like, okay, I want to learn about NASCAR. I want to learn about TV. This is where I want to go. And it just kept going, and it's still what I do today. So it also takes a huge amount of luck and hard work.
Did you say Craigslist ad? That's how you got your start, was a Craigslist ad.
I went to school for marketing at the University of Georgia. I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera because for me, I just want to make people smile. You know, if I can make someone smile, I know I made their day better, then I feel like, oh, I've done the thing I'm supposed to do. So I was looking and trying to figure it out. I didn't want to move to LA and like wait tables and try to figure out how to get on TV that way. So I said, well, I'm going to try it from Atlanta and we're going to see if I can make this work. And I found this Craigslist ad. It said it was a national motorsports network looking for an on-site marketing rep who could be an MC. And I was like, that's me. Let's do it. And that was
So good.
February 2005, believe it or not. Crazy.
Wow. Well, I mean, your personality, it really shows through with everything you do. I think that's why NBC just makes you their hired gun to do absolutely everything from the Olympics to the Kentucky Derby, even though it's not really probably your element that you knew that well, but I think you just bring so much to it that you're awesome with everything. But where I first saw you, I think a lot of people, was Top Gear, the first season in 2010. And it's a huge production, obviously, a huge, well, act to follow considering the British Top Gear, and your first ever interview was Buzz Aldrin. So tell us about the process of that, like getting hired to do that, and then the first show. I mean, how crazy was it?
I mean, all of it felt like a dream. For the record, Top Gear found me because a NASCAR fan loaded something that I did on Speed Channel. They loaded that onto YouTube. Again, this YouTube thing. They put it on there illegally. Speed Channel didn't really think that the internet was going to be like this big thing for what we were doing. R.I.P. And so this race fan loads us up. A guy sitting in the UK who was going to produce the show, a guy named John Hessling, was like looking for everybody that had been on TV for cars in like the last 10 years. He saw me doing a thing at Atlanta Motor Speedway with John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard, where I refused to call him John and I only called him Bo, and basically spent 3 minutes asking him about the nature of the relationship between him and Daisy Duke. Which, in retrospect, y'all, I don't know if I would do that again, but it was a different time. So
there's no audition tape. It was just something you had already done.
I was just being an idiot, and just that turns out to be my natural, and it worked. But I was asking, like, well, she's not your first cousin, right? And he'd be like, no, it's Catherine Bach. And I was like, I'm talking about Daisy, dude. And he's like, she is not my first cousin. So I was like, you guys ever go out to dinner? See a movie?
But you're
so
being
this
yourself, like you said. That's what you want to be.
I don't know what else to do. Right around a General Lee, I might as well ask these questions. So this guy, John Hessling, sees it, and he's like, this guy might be funny. So they end up calling me out. I go out to LA, I think 3 different times. And the best part was, y'all, the whole time I was like, well, I'm not going to get this, so I'm just going to have as much fun as I can.
Right.
And there's all these big name people there and people I've watched on TV for years. And I'm just like, oh, what's up? I'm the weird NASCAR guy. And then Tanner Faust shows up, and I was like, oh my God, you guys know who that is? Crickets. And I was like, well, these dudes suck. They don't even know who Tanner is.
True.
And then turns out Tanner becomes one of my best friends, as does Adam Ferrara. And man, you know, when you get to meet an icon like Buzz Aldrin, it's the craziest thing ever. I will tell you one fun thing. One of the very first things we ever shot was down in Griffin, Georgia. And Tanner Faust and I were riding around in a Viper convertible. And I made a comparison of that car at the time to Pam Anderson. And I said, a car like this is like Pam Anderson. Like, you just want to borrow it, take it around. You don't want to like own it. You don't want to put a ring on this. And I didn't think that was a bad idea until I realized that Kid Rock was standing behind me watching that video just before he went out to be interviewed by me. And he was like, I'd put a ring on it. And I was like, oh, bro, I am so sorry. I didn't know you were going to be here.
Did he take it well?
He thought it was great because, you know, they were married for a brief moment in time. What an American couple that was. But he laughed. And he was like, no, I get it, man. I took it home. I know all about it. So, yeah, it's doing Top Gear still. You know, they still air them all the time on
Yes. Before our show, Barrett Jackson, the live coverage, you're usually our lead in old Top Gear shows.
Like, you and I, that was always our jam, right? The UK show, I loved it. And now you with Car Trek, I mean, you guys have made, that's a whole nother amazing Top Gear in and of itself. But the wild thing is we're in, I think, 100 different countries, 80 different languages. And when you mentioned doing stuff for NBC, I went to Brazil, and there's like 24-hour security for like high up people that we have, and no one knew who they were. And everywhere we went, everyone knew who I was.
Oh, I love it.
Everyone, like way more than in the U.S. because they watch that show. It's on like 3 times a day, but they don't know my voice. Go figure. They give Tanner the like
Dubbed
super
over.
low machismo. Adam gets this funny. I don't know what a New York accent in Portuguese would be close to, but I get the like super high effeminate. Ay, Dios mío! So when people say, yes, April, they'd be like, "Can I get a picture?" And I would say, "Oh yeah, of course." And then their face would just disappear. Like, what?
They're shocked. Like they don't know if it's the real you right now. That's
so that just. Oh no, that's never been like. That's always weird to me. That I just want to make people smile, and I love cars, and the fact that we've gotten to do that all over the world, and still people see it today, is amazing. And I'm lucky, as you know, I get to do all these other things from Hyperdrive to Flora's Lava, and then Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge on NBC. Like I can't believe it. I pinch myself every
Hold
day.
on, let me pick that show name up because you are dropping names.
Absolutely. Hey, marketing degree. That's all I got. That's all I know what to do.
We wish we could be you one day. You're the hope to
Y'all are
get
doing
to.
great. You don't have
Yeah.
look. You don't have to be me. Y'all just be you. Clearly, it's working.
But doing all your shows, like, what is that one moment where you're kept up late at night and you're like, why did I say that? Like, what was your blunder? What was your biggest blooper over the years? You're just still punching yourself for it.
Well, for the record, it happens to all of us. And live TV, things happen and you just can't control. I've had people spill beer on my back when I've been standing on the roof of an RV before. Like anything you can imagine happens.
No.
But one time we were doing some voiceovers and I think someone wrote something that they thought was fine.
Right.
And you don't think about it until it continues to re-air in reruns every single year. But there was this line, and we had our wrap party for Top Gear that season the night before. It was from season 1 when we went to Alaska, and I drove this old Dodge Ram that we called Chuck Norris. Well, turns out that truck has a 5.9 V8, right, which is like a 383. Someone had written it had a 5.7, which would be fine if it was in a Z71. That'd be a 350. I didn't catch it. I didn't write it, but I didn't catch it because I had a long night the night before. And so I say this thing has a 5.7. And as it airs live, I think, ooh, that's not right. I don't know how that got through. I'm looking around and I was like, I only have myself to blame. That was
So like in the voiceover, you read it without thinking about it. And
Right.
then
Yes.
for all the, like a decade plus of reruns now, because they do play that episode a lot because it is really good.
Absolutely.
You are caught in that mistake.
You're like Ron Burgundy,
Every
reading
time.
anything that the
There
teleprompter
you go.
says.
And y'all know, working Bear Jackson, like these people, they are super specific in the things that they know and love, down to like this special accessory button on the dash. So imagine you give it a completely wrong engine, and they're like, "This guy's an idiot."
Well, Tyler just got tripped up with that same thing. He's talking about a Pontiac. And he's saying it's a small block, but Pontiac guys don't distinguish small block, big block. That's not our lingo. He got torn up online about it.
Thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's
Twisting the knife.
like religion. I mean, here's the thing: Mopar people are probably the weirdest. Like they're the most intense. I think Pontiac
You're
is
gonna
probably.
get so beat up for that
No,
now.
it's true. They know it. There's also like a side jut of Corvair people. They're a different kind of crazy. Like what I love is it's all of our crazy. Like we love all of them, but you can't possibly. I mean, C-Match is probably the only guy who can know every single detail in the world, and I love Steve for that ability. But like y'all, I don't think we'll ever be on that level where we can remember and recount that kind of information down to those details. I'm just like, no, it's cool. Look at that thing go, nifty.
All right. I feel like I could talk to you about cars forever.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that a whole new generation, my kids are getting introduced to you from The Floor is Lava. I mean, we sit down, we've watched every single episode, so my kids are just crazy about you because of that. I guess Hot Wheels still with Cars, Hot Wheels Challenge 2, a really awesome show. But it's just so cool to see what you've done, and you've been a perfect first guest for us. You've given us some good advice, so thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, y'all, it's my pleasure. And you know I love both of you. Tyler, to watch the niche that you made for yourself and grow your brand the way that you have, dude, it's incredible because for so many of us that have always been our Craigslist hustlers, you know, it turns out the ladder, we just keep moving up. And you've done such an awesome job with that. April, since the day I've met you, you've been wonderful. Y'all, this is going to be so fun. And hopefully I'll get to see you at SEMA and every other fun thing down the road, too. Thanks for having me.
That's right. We love you, Rut. We'll see you there.
Love you guys. See ya.
Bye. Well, I feel like we're pulling this off pretty good, huh?
It's been good,
Thank you for carrying me through the first episode.
but not at all.
But our final segment is going to be reacting to videos on the internet.
Right.
And our producer, Jake, puts together a series of clips for us to watch and react to.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to build up our confidence, so he chose bloopers from old news and talk shows over the years he thought were the funniest ones for us to react to and, well, feel better about ourselves, I guess.
Hopefully this will help. This is a good therapy session.
Yeah, so shall we?
Let's do this.
J-Lo's new song,
Shepherd
Jenny from the
Smith.
Block, all about Lopez roots, about how she's still a neighborhood gal at heart. But folks from that street in
love
New
Jennifer
York, the
Lopez.
Bronx section,
Yeah.
sound more likely to give her a curb job than a blow job or block
What?
party.
What?
He said, yeah, curb job. That's an easy slip to make, especially if that's what's on your mind is Jennifer Lopez.
Well, what is he saying? Curb job first?
You know, kick him to the curb. Give him a curb job.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I think a curb job is something different. Have you heard of a curb
No,
job?
No.
Like, isn't it? This, I don't even know if we can keep this in, but I thought a curb job was where you're like in a fight with something. Jake, tell me if you know what I'm talking about. When you're in a fight with someone and you get them on the ground and you put their mouth into the curb and then you step on the back of their head.
This must be some Chicago thing.
Well, I'm from Chicago.
This
I thought that was a curb job, which I wouldn't want to give Jennifer Lopez. Okay, maybe we should move on.
Yeah, moving on from April's violent past.
Filled in a little bit, filled in with some air,
Okay,
not
so
as low of pressure,
Chad,
but
Chad,
Camille.
Chad,
Let me talk, Carol.
Translate that for us. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, if you would let me talk. Camille was 908.
And so this is actually
He's probably very stressed out about Hurricane Katrina about to hit New Orleans, and she's
They sound like they've been married for like 87 years.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like, enough, Irene, I've had it. Enough with you. This is bad.
Is that what this will be like 5 years from now with us doing this?
Yeah, or 87
You just let me
years.
talk, April.
No, not in the as northern strong. hemisphere, unless you were obviously trying to get under a hurricane.
All right.
Carol.
Thank you, Chad.
All right, just having fun with you this morning.
Chad, with a name like Chad. No
He's
offense. Chad.
now playing it off as sort of a joke. That was not a joke. He was
No.
actually.
Either him and his wife, like they have some history where he's just not happy. I feel like he's just not a happy person. And, you know, she's kind of nagging him a little bit. And so, I don't know. It seems like he's like been triggered by someone who's been nagging him and he's just miserable.
Or he's just been up all night because of Hurricane Katrina coming into New Orleans. So
It does say it's 1:33
1:33 a.m. Yeah,
Right
yeah.
there.
Poor guy. All right, what's next?
Is your hurricane headquarters. And then a lot of them brought their girlfriends out to, you know, canoodle or whatever. So
Did people canoodle in Union Bay? Is that
They
what you're
did
telling me?
canoodle in Union Bay.
Bruce Williams, CTV News, Union Bay.
Come on, everybody. It's time now for a full look at your forecast with Astrid. Maybe we can canoodle before you get into it about,
We're not going to be canoodling. What?
Oh, I thought
Oh, that is a cold rejection
I love
there.
that she said it.
Astrid, you're lucky there's a producer in my ear. I would have carried that on and on.
Oh, he had
You
no
know what?
idea.
You just made the blooper reel. Good job, Andrew.
Oh.
I love that she said something
But
and
I
didn't just
imagine-
play it off, like be nice, because you're on live TV, and so you just want to scoot past it and not hurt anyone's feelings. And she sounds like she's rejected guys like all the time, like she's a pro, like she's a beautiful girl, so she's a pro at rejecting guys, and she's just like, no. She's used to saying no, and she's shooting him down like, you're done, it's over.
So it would
not
have been your
happening.
rejection in that.
Oh, I'm so bad at rejection. I'm just like, okay, you're very nice. I don't want you to hurt me. Bye. But like, I'm glad that she said something. Like, she spoke up. She should speak up and be like, we are not canoodling.
But there's definitely, I don't know if it's regional or a generational gap there, probably, with the term canoodle.
But he looked
young
like
people?
he was older than her.
I suppose, yeah.
So what does canoodle mean?
Yeah, he looks at least our age.
What does
but,
canoodle mean?
like to make out, to fool around, right?
Yeah, I would think
Yeah,
so.
I thought
and
so,
he
too.
thinks it's like just chit chat and talk about.
Right, he was being innocent. That was an innocent mistake.
Texas rat snakes are going to be one of the largest
seen this one
snakes
before.
that you find in the Metroplex area. Get this thing off me, man. Get this thing off me.
So it's an old clip,
my
but basically a
gosh.
lizard jumps from the table onto his,
my
onto his
gosh.
shirt.
That's
It's
so
the
good.
funniest reaction to an animal. Oh my god.
That was so good. Because it's like, oh, I'm a big, strong, tough guy. And
Yeah.
that are being
not anymore.
judged today at the show.
He's hamming it up is what he's doing.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so.
This right here is a map of downtown Saginaw, and this construction is happening along North Michigan.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no. She did
Yep.
not. She did not. She has no idea what she just did. She has no idea.
Well, this is a game show. Oh, no. Oh.
That was fantastic, actually.
I see Jake has a theme going here now.
Jake does have a theme.
All right. Oh, no.
What could that be, though?
That's the whole point. You guess on the show what it's supposed to be.
So
and
what
now,
do you think it is?
Well, obviously, what everybody thinks it is
Oh, this is bad. This is really
Oh.
bad. This is... How could it get worse and then it gets worse? This is like back in the day when you couldn't even swear or say like
I know.
S-H-I-T on TV or anything.
Oh. Well, it's a game show, not a talk show, but
Right.
Jake clearly saved the best for last. So very nice work, sir. That's really something. Maybe we'll go on the floor as lava, though. We can be a contestant.
I know, they let like adults go on it.
It's all adults.
No,
it's
I thought
really
it was
challenging.
just kids.
You've
like,
never watched it? It's really
Do
challenging.
not tell Rut, but no, I've never. I thought it was just for kids because kids get all excited about watching Floor is Lava. So I assumed that it was just. I have not seen it. I'm in so much trouble.
Now that
right
we've offended our first guest and people with armpit hair, me, half of America, thank you so much for watching our first episode of Good Morning YouTube.
I think that's the first rule when you have a guest. You're supposed to watch the show that they're on.
Yeah.
Am I fired?
No, we'll keep you for one more.
Okay.
But now I get it. I mean, it's about positive. I'm flustered with this body positive image. Well, I would like to think that not a percentage of